Okay, so I'm going to describe your foundation dashboard, your consulting foundation dashboard in Google Docs. The idea behind the dashboard is that you would have everything that we interact with and that you have as part of your consulting business would all be found in this foundation dashboard. That is, at least it would link to it. So this is like a home page on a extensive website. And so the theory behind this is that any endeavor we have in life can have a certain foundation, and the foundation is expressed in simple terms. So for instance, people's foundation in math generally is 4th and 5th grade level math, not anything more advanced than that. And so if you know 4th and 5th grade math, you can do pretty much everything you need to in life, unless you have one of those odd careers that needs the higher math. And there is another exception. If you're going to go to college and high school, then you'll have to muddle your way through the higher math, learn it for a while, and then leave it behind. But foundationally, most professionals at best are mastered at 4th or 5th grade math. And so we could put, if this was their career, we could put, say like here in this section, we could say that that is a foundational thing. Math is 4th and 5th grade math for life. And so we would put it here. If the idea was to put things that are foundational in one's life and career, that's important to me because I'm an evaluator. So the math is important to me, and that's something I'm working on right now. I need to become better at 4th and 5th grade math if you do program evaluations, because we tell stories in this life with words, pictures, and numbers. And so math is an important way in which to tell stories in my career. But it's not the fundamental thing that will be part of your foundation. At least I don't anticipate it will. That's for you to decide, because eventually we won't have these notes down here. We will just have these simple words that refer to foundational elements of your consulting. And this I do know, that story, your story and other people's stories, is going to be at the root of consulting. That I know enough about. So no matter what company you are, you have your story to tell. And you can have systems around that. Once you have your story, you can have marketing teams that promote your story, that use your story as ways to network, etc. So the idea of foundation is that you have these particular elements that you can name that many things rest upon, and hence the term foundation, and hence these squares are to kind of evoke that understanding. Okay, so let me proceed real quickly, and we'll come back to foundations. But what you have here, I hope to develop that each one of these would have links, and whatever's important, and there may be 5 of them, there may be 10, there may be 20 or 50 things that end up being foundational, that you can say, yes, I return to story again and again. I tell my story to new clients, and I'm getting better at telling that story, because I'm getting better, I build more trust, because story helps you build credibility, and so forth. Strategies. I think that is going to be one of the foundational elements, and what we call it might be strategies, and I think we're going to change it to strategies just because it's shorter. I like to keep the things that are foundational and that rest in here as simple as possible. And so we can even call this client or clients. I like plural there. Teams. You'll have teams that help you. You'll have clients that you'll need to keep track of and that you'll want to go after. But after story, I think, is strategy, or what we call a business plan or vision. So this space here in blue will represent the main elements that I will help you develop further. So when I click on this link in story, you know where it goes. It presents you with another dashboard. In this case, let's go ahead and do that. It'll open up the story foundation. So there can be multiple foundations, as this here implies with your consulting foundation. There's just like in education, there's multiple foundations upon which education is done. Reading, writing, and math. And there's others as well. But there's main types of things. And so too there will be with story itself, that there'll be some foundational stories. And you could have all of your stories, but what I recommend is that, and we're using Karen and Jim as foundational story. This is your story foundation. We may want to arrange this differently at some time. That it won't say Karen or Jim, it may say marketing or something like that. So we'll be able to arrange this however makes sense to the both of us, but especially to you, Christy. But right now, as we use it, it makes sense for us to have this. So I prompt you with the yellow writing, Christy, write this up. So when you go to this foundation, you say, oh, look, I'm supposed to do something. Or in this case, Greg's supposed to do something. So this shows that Christy wrote up the Jim story. Greg, read the Jim story and identify foundational elements. So you figured that out. You went to Jim. So then Jim's story opens up here. And we can make further links. We can link parts of this story to notes we have or action items. There's different ways we can use that. But in a sense, we're just using this as a way to navigate the different parts of your consulting. So let's go back to the top and understand that this strategy has not yet developed the associated pages like story has. Story, you can click on it. As you can see, it has an underline. It's highlighted. Strategy will have that, clients will have that, teams will have that, and other foundations. Other things we identify as foundational. Now, on each page I usually have what's called a staging area. And that just basically means some stuff I'm throwing in this particular page because it was convenient or whatever. It's stuff to be cleaned up. It's a temporary note section. And so you and I might meet weekly, for instance. So I write down weekly set meetings. That note may disappear once we talk about it, so forth. But right now it's under consideration. Let's see what else. I pasted something under this staging area. I went on the internet and found some consulting diagrams to start thinking about what is foundational. What are the foundations of consulting? And so that's where I started looking at this. And so we can look at this together, and there may be better ones, but I just pasted them in. It was real easy. Copy and paste, but they're right now they're in the staging area, which means they aren't always going to be here. But right now this helps me build this blue area, and we could do the same thing with if like we're here in your story foundation, and there's other stories I want you to tell me. I'll just Christy. Think of other stories that you might want to tell. For example, your own stories with your own kids. So so you can put placeholders up here. I'm going to color code this right here so that it doesn't have the border. Well, that's theoretically, right? Let's see if I can get it to do what it's supposed to do there. Okay, well, I can remove the border, and really it's not removed. I can show you later. Yeah, you can learn how to edit this. Go to more, and this I basically just set that border at 0, so it's still there, but you can't see it because it's too small. It's 0. But here would be a good place for you to say my child, put their name in there, and that indicates that you will be telling that story at some point. It's not highlighted, so, and maybe that's my child 1, and this is my child 2, say. And that's an indicator that at some point you're going to tell that story. So you'll be able to create a link. I would just so we can discuss how you'll start developing yourself, but you and I can talk, and I'll build this, but eventually you'll be the one building it, and I'll kind of monitor what you're doing, give you suggestions.